In this video, we're going to talk about how to import labor from Chronicle's calendar. To import labor, you'd go to the Labor Detail and Entries screen and click the Import button. On the Import screen, indicate which day that you want to import, today's labor or yesterday's or this week, the previous week, or any date range that you want. Once you've picked a date range, indicate which employees you want to look at labor for. By default, Chronicle shows you everyone, but you can pick selected employees, and on that list you can then shift or control click to select multiple employees. You can select all of the employees either that are in a particular personnel group or all employees that are associated with a particular department. You can also pick a department and choose to see all of the labor for that department, regardless of who has performed it. Indicate whether you want Chronicle to automatically deduct time for lunch breaks. You can choose to have no lunch deduction, or you can choose to manually enter the time for each event that a lunch break applied, or you can always deduct a particular time if employees always take their lunch break at the same time every day. If you choose an automatic lunch deduction, you can override the value for a specific entry by typing in the grid below. Usually when you're importing labor, you only want to see the labor that you've not yet imported, so that each labor entry only gets imported once. If for some reason you need to re-import some labor record, you can choose to see all events instead of just the not yet imported events. The imported events are in red to show you that you probably don't want to import those again. Notice also that any records that have some error are shown in a different color in the list, and there's a color key at the bottom of the screen that tells you what the problem is. Double-click the corresponding entry to collect the problem before importing. Notice also that you have the ability to import all of the events that are shown on the screen, or if you want to pull in some events and not others, you can choose to do selected events and then check or uncheck particular events as needed. If an employee worked for a different amount of time than was scheduled on the calendar, you can correct any entries either by correcting a start time and end time, or simply by adjusting the total number of hours. Those changes will be reflected when you import the labor, although they will not change the scheduled calendar event. Once you're done, import the events by clicking either Import or Close or Import and Stay Here. If you're working through one employee at a time, then Import and Stay Here would be the likely choice so that you could go on and work with the next employee. You can also click the Close button to close the screen without importing. Once you click one of the import options, Chronicle will put the events on the labor detail. It will also show you warnings and error messages about any entries that could not be imported because there was some problem with the record, or entries that were imported but that had some problem. They overlapped with another time. In some way looked like they could have been incorrect. You can adjust those entries as needed on the labor detail screen. That's really all there is to importing. For help with other aspects of tracking labor in Chronicle, see our other labor videos.